The cleanest games of Sejuani we've seen. He managed to dodge out of some vision early, pick up a gank mid. Have to see if he can do that again against the likes of Maple, which seems like it will be a little bit harder than doing against Nuli, but we'll have to wait and see. Azir banned, LeBlanc banned. Have to see what the rest of this draft looks like.
The Azir ban, I mean, a timeless classic against Mission. Whenever the champ is meta, they do take it away from him, sometimes even when it's not meta. Azir, I don't think we've actually seen played this split so far in the PCS, which is a little surprising. He's getting a lot of play internationally. The Nico ban is taken away, so it seems like we kind of come to a consensus here in the PCS that LeBlanc and Nico need to be banned on that red side. Maokai is the other ban from PSG. Probably just want to take that away, and I wonder, will the Vi get banned, or are we just gonna maybe first play? Okay, they banned the Sedge.
Right, so PSG might be cooking here.
Yeah, so I wonder if they won that first pick Vi. There's still the... I think when it's answered by Xayah, it does lose a lot of its strength, but I'm interested to see what they do here. So DCG, do you... I feel like you can't ban the Vi, right? You kind of have to trade the Vi Wukong.
Yeah, unless they've got something else up their sleeve, but that does feel like the natural next look as Azir stares us down in the face. Okay, Vi is banned now, so Wukong left open. Junjie very comfortable on that pick. Wouldn't be surprised to see that locked in here for the first pick, but Azir for now just scrolling through a few top champions.
Yeah, that is very different though. I'm really surprised by the Vi ban. Maybe they don't want to prioritize Xayah or something, so anyway, they're going to take it away. Melio is locked in.
Okay, first time we've seen Melio. Looks really strong, and Wako Woody were the premier sort of Lucian Nami in the former season, so have to imagine now they're going to be very comfortable on this pick. Woody traditionally preferred enchanters to those engaged supports, so not overly surprising. If Blitzcrank's locked in here, Orca's got a lot to live up for from yesterday on Chelsea.
Now, I would be kind of surprised to see this locked in, but maybe they are going to go for it straight away, and it looks like it's going to be locked in. So, hey, like you said, big shoes to fill. I'm honestly not too sure if Blitzcrank is that good up against Lucian Melio, because it just feels like you can get punished so hard in the laning phase. I mean, I guess you still always kind of have that hook factor of if you do hit one, it means a lot, right? Like you can oftentimes get a pick, get an objective off it, but it definitely feels like throwing the gauntlet to me. You know, it's risky, and we'll see if it pays off. Kai'Sa looks to be the pick alongside it.
Yeah, we'll be locked in. So Kai'Sa so far, I believe, sitting at a 100% win rate. I might be wrong there, but from memory, it was only picked up from
Betty. Yeah.
And so with that, I mean, Kai'Sa definitely a strong champion on the pitch. Can go AD, can go AP. Means that mission might be open to picking something like the Jace here on the third pick for DCG. But first off, we got to lock in that Lucian. Almost certainly will be locked in here. And then they also get their pick of the litter for the third pick. Now, Wukong would make logical sense. Could also look for the Jace and then something AP up top. There is also Kennen open for Azir.
Okay, so they picked the Annie instead, which forces DCG into a difficult position. Do you take your mid into Annie and risk losing this Wukong? And now, hovering the Poppy. This very well could be Poppy jungle. It has been getting some play.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of a flex. It could also be Poppy top. I don't think that's very terrible or by any means. And it means that you're sort of going into this 4-5 without really knowing exactly where that Poppy is. I think logically it probably will be jungle into 2 jungle bans, but still can be flexed into that top lane.
Can be, yeah. And I wonder now, what do we look at for those second phase bans? Because most of the time in the PCS so far, we've been dropping our bot lanes to 4-5, picking those solo laners up early, but instead, you know, we've got all the bot lane picks picked up already. Maybe you target the Jace. I mean, that's kind of an obvious one for the side of PSG. They ban away the Viego. And PCS Viego, look, it hasn't put up the numbers, but
Junjie has. I think Junjie looked like probably the best out of the lot. Although, didn't seem like one of his strongest champions.
Yeah, I do prefer him on other stuff instead. PSG, I think you ban away the Jace here. Alternatively, maybe you can ban and protect top lane, you know, take away stuff like the Gnar. Hanabi is very good on that. They ban away the Tristana, so they're a bit worried about the Trist versus Annie matchup. Honestly, I think that matchup's fine for Annie, so maybe they're just giving some respect over the mission. Could also be that they're a little scared of maybe an AP jungler coming out and Tristana enabling that. Lots of things to consider. Now, second ban should be another jungler, you'd have to think. What will it be, though? I mean, the Wukong's the obvious one, but is it that good against their comp? Doesn't really feel like it. Well, they banned Renekton instead, so I wonder if that means they're going to blind pick their top laner on 4 and instead last pick their mid. I wonder what they would go for if they're banning away the Renekton.
Yeah, this is an interesting draft for sure. Still waiting for that last ban here from PSG. I think likely to be, oh, okay, so Jax is the choice.
Okay, so they
here.
were worried about the Jax blind pick coming through, I think. So now will Hanabi just blind pick Gnar? Or are they going to pick mid? I mean, they've already seen the Annie, so it kind of makes sense.
Ooh.
Yeah, they should pick mid, because they want to keep this Puppy Flex alive. I keep forgetting that Annie was locked in for some reason. Now, Orianna, Mission's classic. It does very well in the versus Annie matchup as well. And I'm not sure how good it is with the comp. I mean, I think it's decent with Poppy and Kai'Sa. It's kind of weird to be paired with Blitzcrank, though.
You can chuck the ball on Kai'Sa and use her as a delivery, kind of akin to what we used to see with Kayle Kai'Sa.
Okay, now 4-5. They lock in the Graves.
Okay, so this is kind of exciting.
Graves Scion. Okay, and now does Hanabi pick Gwen? Yeah, should be. So, I mean, yeah, Graves Scion, not a 4-5 we've seen so far in the PCS, I don't think. And that is very interesting. I mean, I think Graves and the Poppy should be pretty good. Definitely feels like you should have a big tempo lead. In the team fights, could be a little tough maybe. And the blind pick Scion, I mean, I feel like Arja does pretty well when he blinds no matter what, but I feel like Scion versus Gwen is honestly a pretty horrific matchup. Ooh, okay, so he goes for the Gnar instead.
Better team fighting, which is more akin to their comp. I want to say, though, I think this Graves pick is very important because when you do have the Lucian and the Melio, it is actually about 60% AP damage that comes out of the Lucian. Instead of, I mean, you do think of, obviously, all of Lucian's damage is pretty much AD, but when you pair it with the likes of the Nami or the Melio, it's about 60% AP. So with that matchup, you have more AP damage coming from your team, so Graves adding in consistent AD damage makes the build paths a little bit harder here for DCG. Ultimately, I think there's not a big discrepancy, I think, in the draft phase here. Lots of tools for both teams. It's more about setup, I think. If you get tempo lead, then the Gnar really thrives with getting tempo, being able to stack up the Gnar bar, as well as it's hard to push into a Poppy with the ability to push you against a wall, as well as deny any sort of dashing around.
Yeah, I think there are win cons for both teams. Personally, though, I do prefer the PSG draft. I think I just feel like their champs are overall a bit stronger. You know, pound for pound, it feels like in the current meta. We'll have to see, though. It kind of feels like a battle of comfort versus meta, right? You've got Mission on his Orianna, Hanabi on his Gnar, two champions that they're famous for. On the other side, though, just very strong meta picks coming out. That Lucian Milio that Annie picked up. Graves is a little different, though. I mean, we'll have to see how Jinjia does. I have to imagine, like pretty much every jungler Jinjia puts his hands on, turns out to be incredible on it.
Yeah, I don't think I have too much fear. I guess it is a bit of a question mark. Like, how much can he really get done? Graves not really known for providing for the lanes. It's more like the lanes have to play around him. And with mid lane, there should be pressure going to Mission instead of Maple. So might make it a little bit harder for Jinjia to find a foothold and gain himself an advantage over Hana on the Poppy. I think actually both top sides are losing for PSG. So it might just be a case where Jinja's having to play around bot side and try and use the power of the Lucian Milio to get himself an advantage there.
Yeah, I think you'll definitely see the DCG laning phase, put on display here, especially in that mid and top. Like you said, they've got the matchups for it. And PSG, even last split when they were extremely dominant, they were never a super fast-paced team, right? Like, they preferred to generally just play stable up until kind of that second, third Dragon mark, which is when they'd really just kind of out-team fight you, kind of grind you into the ground from there, whereas DCG, with Nesty previously, were very active in the early game. Kriskata as well would often play early game ADCs. You kind of saw the likes of those pushing ADCs a lot, the Varus, the Caitlyn as well. And now with Mission, I think that really kind of cements their identity as this is a team that wants to kind of beat you in lane. They want to get ahead early and really kind of take it home before you can scale up.
Absolutely, but we are now going to be headed onto the Rift, and I think one thing to take note of is where these junglers start. I mean, we say that every game, but this game more than ever, because Graves really does rely on getting faster tempo in the earlier game. He's definitely got one of the faster clears, especially in the current meta. So we'll have to see. They are invading early. It is spotted out, and Hanabi might look for a wrap.
A couple interesting things here. Oh, as the pause comes out, I want to talk about some of the keystones. So we've got Airy on the Annie instead of a Spellbook or a First Strike. So definitely wants more lane power to fight back up against Mission's Orianna. Kind of like it. And also, Wako going for the PTA instead of the First Strike with Milio. I'm not sure how common that is, to be honest. Obviously, you used to run First Strike with Nami all the time, and I think you still run First Strike with the Milio a fair amount, but doesn't have it here, so maybe wants a bit stronger early game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I'm not entirely sure either, but my belief is when you play with Nami as Lucian, her proc with the buff does proc off your abilities too, so you can get a lot of First Strike damage from just throwing out a W with that Nami on top of you. Whereas with the Milio, you have to reliably land your auto attacks for it to mean any substantial damage. And so maybe that's the difference between going PTA with the Milio versus Nami having the First Strike.
Yeah, could be. And Blitzcrank, level 1, will he look for anything? Doesn't look like it. Oh, although, PSG, they've got Arja down here on the side. Are they going to invade this blue and split the map? Yeah, looks like they're going to. So this, I think, is a very intelligent decision. I think Sion can weak side top completely fine, and Kai'Sa Blitzcrank is not a lane that wants to be weak sided, especially against double range that can just push for free. And I think this is extremely well played from PSG to make this decision, and it's really going to be up to Arja to see how well he can minimize, but at least for the bot side of the map, this is so nice for PSG.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Sion never really meaning to win his lane, and Orca already missed the same amount of hooks as Shalcy did in his entire game yesterday.
It's not a good sign.
Losing a lot of health, really, considering how early on it is.
Yeah, they can't afford to take too many bad trades either, although Poppy is actually running straight bot side. So she did Raptors and ran here.
Okay.
Oh.
Flash forward is going to be onto the Sion. Definitely not the target you want, because going into that zombie could actually spell disaster. Massive knock up here. This is terrible for the DCG bottom lane.
Yeah, not good for Hana either, who just very narrowly missed that blue buff. I'm surprised he ran all the way down here. I guess he felt the need to cover, but Sion is still here.
They're looking for a dive. Now, Decimating Smash will be cancelled out by the hook here, and it is going to be Azu going down first, but he picks up Blitzcrank on the side. They're chasing them down early. Junja is actually, it's Sion picking up a double. Wako finds himself one. It's 3-1, 2 minutes into the game. What a way to start.
Yeah, insane start. I think Arja just, being willing to do that for your team is so big, and he's so rewarded for it now. Starts the game with 2 kills. Despite what he lost topside, you have to say it's worth it for him.
Oh, absolutely. He's got 3 KP, and the game has just started. Let's look at the replay here and see how Arja really played this.
I think, yeah, so Arja, he's deciding whether to go back top or not. Finally decides that with this wave crashing, with Hana having no buff, it's just a free dive, and if he dies early, if he tanks, it doesn't really matter too much. Just can't go into the passive and look to clean the rest of this up. And just, he deals so much damage early. He's tanking the tower the whole time. It makes this just so easy. Sion is the perfect champ for this, and I hope some of the international teams do look at this, because lane swapping or doing kind of crazy level 1 stuff with Sion is, it's very impactful, and a lot of the time people don't know the correct responses to it, because just how often do you play against this in scrims? The answer is pretty much never.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing to say as well. And when you pick Sion, it's generally a blind pick, and in which case you just lose lane. There's so many champions that will just beat Sion in lane. It's kind of expected, especially when you get up to the pro scene. And Mission now is in trouble as Junja looking for another gank. Mission will be able to escape, but not before losing the majority of his health, and he's going to have to teleport back.
That's pretty bad for Mission. I think if you're playing Orianna versus Annie, you should normally force her to base first, be the one that's kind of pressuring the lane up in items, but actually going the other way. I'm not too sure if that was just, he lost a lot of health in the 1v1 and that enabled Jinjia to gank mid, or how his matchup was going before then. But either way, definitely not the start he wanted in that lane. DCG's bot lane, they're trying to push this in. I think PSG might just be able to hold it though. It's not going to be super easy to break. And that CS lead bot, it's going to get bigger and bigger. Looks like Lucian's going towards the Kraken Slayer as well.
Yeah, I think that is what generally gets built now as Lucian. You go for the Kraken Slayer into whichever form of mythic you want. You can go for Navori, you can also go for Gale Force. I think Navori is the more traditional one. Hana sitting here is quite important though. It does allow the pressure to get this wave pushed in, although now they will still be able to hold it, and it should hold because they have the 4 ranged minions still alive.
Yeah, this sucks for Hana, though. He's having to spend so much time here, in which Graves is just getting further and further ahead. And even with him here, they still can't break the freeze.
Yeah, they can't break it. In fact, they lose a trade, 3v2. Wako getting a lot of damage off.
Yeah, absolute disaster early game for DCG. I feel like it's not super represented in the gold lead, at least just yet, but these lanes, especially bot lane and jungle, they're going to get worse and worse. I mean, take a look at the jungle difference already. It's getting pretty big.
Yeah, absolutely. And while there is obviously a CS lead up top for Hanabi, it's fairly inconsequential because of those three kills and assists that Azi has combined. And Sion doesn't really care. Sion will still be Sion despite being behind, whereas Kai'Sa doesn't function the same, and neither will Poppy.
Definitely not. All this kind of came from Hana making that very risky decision of just running from Raptors straight to the blue, and was admittedly very close to getting it. The hook lands.
Oh yeah, Mission is going to lose a lot of health. It is going to be the shockwave. He's going to get low. Tibbers comes out as well as the stun, but he does go down. So well done by Orca to find that kill.
Yeah, very important there. I think that's going to swing this matchup into Mission's favor. And we've seen what happens when this guy gets a lead on Orianna now. Chris
What is the cost? Hana is in the area.
Yeah, they want to try denying this cannon. I think he's still going to get it. Yeah, he's still going to get the cannon, but lost a lot of HP in that. Maybe sets up for a dive later on. GG starting this up. Does not have his mid laner on the map, though. Maple dying to that mid gank has kind of thrown this early game awry. And they're trying to do it. I think they should grab it. Wako, he's losing a lot of health. Ooh.
Yeah, nice dodge. And with that, they can't really contest it, you don't think?
I'm surprised Hana's still here.
Yeah, he does have flash, so he should be safe to get away if he needs to. Actually looking for something onto Woody. Heal is going to be expended. Nice knockback there. Flash forward to knock up Wako as the heal comes through. Wako does have... Oh, he gets grounded. Nice usage of that W from Hana is going to find Wako and an important kill over to Cascada to somewhat even up this bot lane. Maybe even ahead slightly.
Yeah, that's really important there, I think, for Cascada to get that kill. And I think PSG probably just didn't commit hard enough to the Dragon. I think they kind of spent a lot of time not sure whether or not they should force them off. And ultimately, it gave time for Mission to come back from base and Cascada to finish clearing his wave. So a bit of indecision from PSG. It does cost them, but they still have the lead, and I think they did walk away with the Dragon as well. This is kind of what I mean. I think if you're just focusing the Dragon here, it's probably not a big issue, but there's so much DPS lost just kind of walking around, you know, trying to zone people off. But the reality is, if you're just hitting it, Mission cannot be here in time. But once they realized, you know, it's kind of already too late, and Wako, he thought he was safe here, you know, has the E, has the flash. Blitzcrank has no mana for the hook, but, you know, yeah, needed a flash there. Unfortunately, went for the dash and was grounded.
Yeah, well done. We heard the Sion ult. I don't know where that went, but maybe just back to his lane, perhaps. Is Junjia now on this Rift Herald? Will definitely help if he is able to pick that up. It does look like it will be unanswered. And while things are sort of evening up down the bot lane, there is still a 20 CS gap, and the jungle gap is actually phenomenal. There is still 3 assists to the 1, as well as what is almost 20 CS. And as a jungler, that is not very common, particularly when you've picked up both early objectives.
Definitely, and Junjia, maybe he could have looked for more in that top jungle, but instead is going to reset, probably going to clear out his bot side, and then look to pressure for his Milio Lucian. And definitely when you come up on your 1 items here, you know, it's very similar to the Lucian Nami, where you hit those spikes and then suddenly just the strongest champs in the map, and no one can really contest you. Unfortunate there on the cannon. It does happen to the best, and the best is Arja.
Absolutely. I've done that so many times where you think you have enough damage to kill that cannon, but it just goes flying away and dies to a ranged creep.
Oh, so pings onto the bot river. I mean, there is very good vision set up here for DCG. Wako is denying a lot of CS in this bot lane, but they haven't managed to snowball their lead any further. And Cascada getting those kills, and one off that initial dive and another off that dragon fight, has allowed him to at least stay even in this bot lane. And once again, Mission, he's going for that Shadow Flame rush. He's got himself an alternator. Yeah,
the Dark Tech continues. I wonder if he will change up his second item. He went Crown yesterday. Perhaps not. I mean, Crown may be even safer this game, being that you are against the Annie. Lucian can proc it pretty easily, and I must say Leandres would do a lot to try and get some health off of the Sion.
Yeah, it would. I better not see a Crown this game. Mission's better than that. Although, he's in trouble here.
Looking, that is flash now down for the Orianna.
Oh, Poppy ult.
Will be cancelled, so
Ooh.
won't be that long of a cooldown, but it is Woody getting found from downtown. He's okay to use the blast cone away. The Orca's hook starting to look more accurate now as the game progresses.
Ooh, a lot of damage on the Orca.
Yeah. Ooh.
Ooh, Culling comes out. There's nothing to cancel it here. Orca's very low, and Janjir's here with Rift Herald. I think DCG might have to give up this tower, although they're going to kill onto Maple. He didn't have flash. I think he just got Ori ulted and taken out, but now they will be punished for it bot side. They've seen Hana mid. I want to say credit to Hana, who's managed to find stuff in this game despite having an absolute horrific start.
Absolutely. Now, while kills are now in favor of DCG, it is ultimately 5 plates, almost 6 plates to the 1, which is far more valuable in terms of just gold. It seems like a little bit here now is onto Mission to be able to try and find advantages based on the pressure he's gotten and the kills he's received from it.
Yeah, without the flash, has nowhere to go. Oh, actually uses the bear to get onto him there. It's a bit unfortunate for Maple, but without the flash, it's going to be hard to survive. And Mission, I mean, look at his items. He is really strong. Even without the completed item, he's just got a lot of AP.
Yeah, wow. It's such a crazy build path.
Yeah,
I think he's the only person I've ever seen go for it. I mean, it will give him a lot more early game damage as opposed to just going straight for the Mythic.
Yeah.
You do lose out on things like cooldown reduction when, in fairness, Orianna isn't that worried about too much early. It's kind of, if you can get one big shockwave in a skirmish, you've definitely done your job, so maybe playing into that.
I want to see if he does go for that Leandrews after, because it would be very good against the Scion. On the other side of the coin, though, it is Waku, who's also extremely accelerated. He's got himself a Kraken Slayer and 2 swords as well.
Well, Hana starting up this Dragon, and with both bot laners from PSG being top lane, they should be able to pick this up fine. It looks like PSG aren't too concerned with the Dragon, rather trying to get more and more gold onto Waku's Lucian.
Oh, Kriskata.
Yeah, Kriskata's in a world of hurt here, and Maple ult will secure it. That is a kill found back for Maple. Now they're actually going down to contest. Hana's going to lose this, and they're losing plates top.
Oh, no. This is a disaster for DCG.
Yeah.
I think Kriskata... Oh,
Mission now is the next target. He still does not have flash. Decimating strike will land. It is going to be flash committed from Janjir to ensure it, but Ozzy picks it up for himself.
Oh, my God. And on top side.
Oh, wasn't able to keep Woody alive with the heal, but still a 1-for-1 there. It's a free kill bottom. Kriskata also found, Dragon found, and a lot of plates top.
Yeah, a series of unfortunate events there for the side of PSG, or sorry, for the side of DCG, and it felt like Kriskata, you know, kind of let all that happen. I hope we get a replay of it, because he was actually just walking up and hitting the Raptor camp, and I don't even think he got a single Raptor, and then kind of passed back in greedily and dies. Here, the dive on the Hanabi. I don't think there's much he can do to outplay this, to be honest. At least he managed to trade one back.
Well, he did quite well, like avoiding a lot of culling damage and flash the Lucian Q, but yeah, does get taken down, is able to trade, which is good for himself, but definitely better for PSG.
For sure, and Kriskata, you know, despite finding those kills, is now at a very significant item disadvantage as Waku continues to accelerate further and further ahead. Mission, he's got a Shadow Flame now, and will definitely want to fight with it. Triforce on the Gnar.
I'm really concerned. Is this going to be a Collector Kai'Sa?
Oh, I sure hope not. Okay, yeah, so let's take a look at Kriskata. So he doesn't check this pink, he doesn't DPS the drag. Instead, he drops a ward, which is good, but I think he comes in... I don't even think he kills this little raptor. Let's see if he does. Okay, he got 8 gold. He got 8 gold, but it cost his team so much more. He dies, 450 gold in their pockets, lost the drag, lost mission. Look, Kriskata, I hate to say it, but that raptor was not worth it.
It certainly doesn't feel like it.
Oh, no. Do not look Kai'Sa items.
Oh, no. Okay, I've got to say, that has to be... I don't know why you'd do that. You're against a Scion, who is probably the person you're hitting the most in a team fight. I mean, maybe you can get yourself ulted in there from a Gnar ult or something similar, but I just don't see a world where Collector is the correct item.
No, I think you're right. Definitely, especially against Gore Drinker Graves as well, right? That's probably the other target you're hitting. Gonna have a lot of armor as well.
Yeah, weird Weird itemization here on Kai'Sa. If you are able to somehow get onto Woody or Wako, then I'm sure you'll be able to do a lot more damage to them. But it feels pretty hard to be able to do that, considering you've got a Graves, Annie, and Sion to get through first.
Definitely is, yeah. Now 2 more minutes on this third dragon. I think DCG can still fight it though. You know, despite being behind, they have hit their spikes. For now though, they're going to have to play to PSG's tune. They're going to have to follow around this Herald. Oh, Woody.
Yeah, Woody. Okay. Isn't in the shop. Actually, still sticking around. Could be a bit dangerous.
Yeah, okay. He might try to chase him. I don't
Has
think
flash
he'll be able to get him.
available. Woody does as well in response. Okay, nothing will come from it.
I do want to say Shalsey had Moby boots at this point. Did not have the Swifties. He knew what he was about.
That's right. Get around the map quicker. Who needs the combat movement speed?
That's right. Now, PSG, they still have this Herald, so they can drop it ahead of the third drag, either in one of the side lanes or even on that mid-tier one, which is going to make it very difficult for DCG to actually get a good position on it. They do have items, right? They're spiked on Ori. Na's got the Triforce. Kai'Sa is strong at this point, but I am a little worried about just being able to actually get there, because it feels like PSG, you know, with the Herald as well and control over the area already, they've got this dragon on lock, and it's really up to DCG to try break their position. And look how ahead Graves is in the jungle as well. Up 2 levels, up 50 CS.
Yeah, there's a lot of power in both the Junja's, Graves, as well as Wako's Lucian. 2 items on Lucian. You pretty much have to find him with a Blitzcrank hook or Ori ult to be able to contest this dragon. Look how much damage that Culling just did to Orca. He's going to have to recall. 40 seconds until this dragon. Culling will not be much longer than a 40-second cooldown as well. Maybe about a minute 15.
Now, we'll just back away.
Okay.
20 more seconds on this drag.
A lot of sums up. Pretty much every sum is available here.
I think
Maple's teleport being the exception.
it's so hard for DCG to get in here. I mean, can they trade anything on top side? It doesn't look like it. So they're kind of forced to contest, but it's so hard to get in here. Maybe you just go down mid and give up the drag, but even that doesn't seem like a good option.
Yeah, kind of feels like there's a bunch of losing options here for DCG. I mean, there is also the option if Orca can land an important hook, can just turn it around, but how is he supposed to get somewhere unseen to land such hook?
And not sure. PSG, though, they're slowly giving ground, and they haven't started it up yet. Aja, he has the TP. Hanabi is basing, and he has the Mega Gnar almost prepped. Junja should be able to dodge this very easily. Yeah, Poppy ult was wasted. This is looking better and better for PSG. Although
Poppy ult will be up again in a couple seconds.
Oh, look at Maple's position.
Yeah, Maple in pretty much the perfect position. No scrying orb to be able to scout him out at the moment.
Oh, he's going to get found, I think, by Hana. Although I think he managed to avoid it, actually. Yeah, still in his position.
Very
Hanabi's
tense.
mega popped.
Oh, yeah. Once that's gone, it does feel like your ability to team fight is pretty lost here.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of restraint shown by both teams, though. Ultimately, I think it's getting better and better for PSG. But DCG looks like they still want to find a fight. Hanabi, he needs to charge this mega up, and Junjia started. As soon as they see the Gnar bar is empty, I think PSG should look to force the issue. They should have confirmation now. Mission, though, he's holding this area so well with the Ori ball.
Recall's coming through. Are they just going to give it? It feels kind of weird for them to do so.
Yeah, nah, no shot. Okay, he's going to try to look for something,
Okay,
but Aja...
Azu walking in first means Blitzcrank can't really look for a hook because killing Sion isn't an option.
Okay, now it's finally going to get started up. Hanabi's Gnar bar is halfway. Maple, he finds himself a flank again, but is spotted out.
Yeah, Hanabi half. He needs to start throwing out some boomerangs, try and stack that up. Has flash to look for a flash Gnar.
How long have we been here?
A couple minutes. Very restrained from both teams. I think maybe PSG are being restrained to a fault almost.
Yeah, I think they maybe could have forced it when their Gnar bar was down, but really giving respect to Mission's Orianna. But can they trade more on the other side of the map? I mean, it looks like resets have come through, and they've reset first. You've got the Navori on Wako. Okay, so PSG are on the map earlier. Kriskata's completed his Essence Reaver.
Essence.
That's a
this
weird
Kai'Sa build getting wild.
Yeah, definitely haven't seen this one before.
Definitely will not have the attack speed, obviously, to have invis, which is generally such a huge spike for Kai'Sa.
Wako playing around that ball really well. And it looks like we're going to our 3rd minute of dancing around this. Ooh, the hook almost connects onto Woody.
Ooh, nice decimating smash, lands onto Orca, but he will be fine, gets shielded up there. Hana again just baiting out his ult, will have it back.
Hanabi's just about ready.
Yeah, he's building it up off of this Gromp.
I think Mission's going to TP back. I think he has an item. Yep, TP's back. I'm pretty sure he has his Mythic here. Not sure which one. Maple has a flank.
This is Poppy ult again.
Mega Gnar is popped.
Is going to let it go out. Yeah, the Mega Gnar popped now. PSG just have to wait till that goes down.
Oh, they're playing it really well. Dragon's on 50% HP though, and I think DCG, are they going to still try fight it with the Gnar gone?
Yeah, no more Gnar bar. Going to be about a minute until that is even possible to get back up. Again, Poppy ult is going to be able to land. Ooh. Oh, nice channel by the Sion. Ginger manages to find that dragon, and now Wako, what damage can he do? It's actually going to be Poppy flashing onto Ginger. He's not where he wants to be. Orca's so low, but that nice shockwave is going to stop Ginger in his tracks, but he gets one. It's a 600 gold shutdown, also found from Criscata. A lot of gold onto that Kai'Sa. 1 for 1, but Dragon does go to the side of PSG.
It was a 1 for 1, and I think it should have been even more, but Orca hit a really nice hook onto Maple, who died without using flash or ult, which made that fight a lot closer. I think normally DCG, with no Gnar bar, should have had no business, even coming even in that fight, but we'll see it here. So Gnar pops early, and PSG, they play around it very well again. They wait it out. They know that they can just wait for it. Don't need to make this fast. I mean, they've been doing it for 3 minutes. But you see here, I think the Poppy ult was charged up, and I think he almost thought he was just guaranteed getting RG out of the fight, but Sion ult used for the unstoppable at just the right time, as you'll see here. And managed to keep him in it. And very, very nice. Now pay attention to the hook, because Maple, he gets flash hooked and Wako kind of gets him killed, but Annie going down with no flash or ult is pretty big, right? That's a lot of damage and CC missing from the fight. Wako leaves a lot of people on low HP, but can't quite finish them off. And DCG, I mean, unfortunately, it was only a 1 for 1, and the Dragon was still given over, so still better for PSG, but I think it was a better fight than it should have been.
I actually think that it's possible DCG don't lose anyone if Hana doesn't flash into the pit to try and stun Jinjia.
Ooh.
Oh, flash! Oh, there's the flash shot we were missing. It is going to land onto Orca. Bit of payback, finds one, and they're going to pick up their 2nd tower on the push.
Yeah, he was saving it, and I think, could they do Baron? Probably not. A lot was invested, and it was just a blitzcrank kill. But still, the gold keeps going up, and they can play towards this 4th dragon. 3 more minutes, and they definitely are spiked enough for it. Gold difference has been in PSG's favor basically the whole time. If you remember, there was that really clever level 1 that they had, and ever since then, they've been in control.
Criscata going for another lethality item.
Interesting.
This guy's cooking. I wonder what it's going to be. It should be a mythic. But does he go Yomu's or Duskblade?
Maybe you just sit on it? No way though, right? Not this.
I think the other longsword should mean it's going to be mythic.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe a Duskblade or something. More invis. Then you don't need the attack speed.
Yeah.
Alright, wait, it's untargetable now, not invis. But either way, I mean, we'll see what he's cooking next time he bases.
Yeah, I mean, interesting build, definitely. I don't know if it's what I'd want to see from my AD carry, but we'll see what it does for him. Wako definitely ahead at the moment, but I mean, importantly, Criscata has picked himself up, I believe, 2 shutdowns so far, as that hook barely misses.
Yeah, there's been a few near misses. Orca, if he had maybe 50 more range on that hook, would have hit a couple on the Woody. How's that movement speed from that Aether Wisp, actually? Makes a pretty big difference. Just flying around the map. 419 movement speed here.
Maple really committing here to being utility for his team with that Rylai's purchase 2nd.
I'm a big fan of the Rylai's on Annie, actually. It's so annoying to play against. It's really hard, I think, to tell how useful Rylai's is, but it always feels so annoying to play against. And Wako, he's being looked at here.
Yeah, Orca going real fast down here, looking for Wako. Isn't going to hit him, but it's going to be Azu somehow finding Hanabi. And what looked like it was DCG on the front foot. I don't even know where Azu came from, but he drifted around and managed to find himself a Gnar.
He did, yeah. That was some insane racing coming out of Arja. I do want to see a replay. I don't even know where he came from. Managed to find him, and Wako, you know, flashes the hook, also flashes in. Very, very nice. Now 50 more seconds on the Dragon. Importantly, Wako and Maple both missing their flashes for this fight. I think Cascada's will probably be up in time. So that's maybe a window that DCG can abuse. Won't have their Gnar flash though.
Yeah, and that can be very important, obviously. Looking for a flash ult. Often one of the scariest engages there are.
Okay, it is PSG who have control. With the 3 dragons to their name, they can also sit up around Baron and kind of force DCG to choose. Really feels like they should be able to get that Ocean Dragon though, and with no healing cut to speak of on the other side, it's going to be so difficult for DCG to play against, and you can see PSG, they're moving up very far in mid, which is going to make it so hard for DCG to contest. They're going to have to come in very late. Maple should be able to find a flank very early as well.
Now, question, how do you think DCG ever kill Azir?
It's impossible, they can't.
Yeah, it is Crown on mission.
Dustblade on the Kai'Sa.
Yeah, but they just have no tank damage, and Azir right now sporting almost 4,000 health.
DCG, they have to fight, but
yeah,
no
they have
Narva.
to, but it's going to be everything committed, and the Dragon is going to be picked up. That's Ocean Soul, and the fight now will start. Nice ult from Azir is going to find 2. Hanabi trying to build up that Narba, does have it now, but what can he find? It doesn't look like anything. Smart of PSG just to disengage. They could have perhaps won the fight, but better to not risk it after picking up that Soul.
The Siren just does not take damage, and TP's back to mid. He's going to be able to hold that.
Oh, Jinjir having to flash out. That's a big cooldown used now, but importantly doesn't die, and he comes back in. Azir's in the middle. Jinjir's trying to live. He is going to be able to for now. He's very low, but Ocean Soul maybe can heal him up. Maple now looking for Cascada. Cascada ults just on the spot, basically. Will eventually go down to Liandry's, but Azir, look at how unkillable this man is. Hanabi jumping away. It's a 1-for-1, but yeah, there is absolutely no killing Azir, especially now with this Soul.
Yeah, there's no healing reduction, no tank busting items, no Liandry's even on the Orianna, and Azir just will not die. That teleport was very aggressive.
I can't believe they didn't turn around.
Yeah. I am very surprised he got away with that, but PSG, they pay their respects, are just going to walk away.
Yeah, wow. So far, a flawless game here from Jinji. He manages to get hooked and flash away, but was it about 1 HP now because of that Ocean Soul? We'll be back to full.
Now, do you think this game goes to Aldo? Because I'm guessing not. I think that PSG will look to pressure with this Baron. Maybe it does end up going to Aldo, but I don't think we're going to see kind of the same just farm until Elder that we saw in the previous game. There's a lot of potential for action to happen here. I'd like to see PSG kind of move towards that Baron.
Yeah, well, I think Azir can pretty much start a fight whenever he wants. And there is no way really to kill him. And so they could just go to the Baron, and that could be their angle to try and get this game sort of progressed and end it. But like, he can just sit in this bush. If he gets hooked, they're not ever killing him. In fact, here we go. We're going to see that in action. Hook does land onto him. They use absolutely every one of their abilities. They take about a quarter of his health, and he has Ocean Soul, so he'll be back to full in no time.
That's pretty depressing for the side of DCG. They are going to slowly lose control of this top side, and that's going to allow PSG to start this up.
Okay, Azir now going back in, finds both the carries, and it's going to be Orchid getting solo. Jinjir will find him. Azir now in the middle of 3. He's taken no damage, as we said. Hanabi, though, does get his Mega Gnar very, very late, and his mission with 1 HP should be fine for PSG just to take that kill and now start the Baron.
Yeah, they can start it up. Mission does not have TP either, so it's not going to be at this fight in time. It's effectively a 3v5.
Maple looking, Cascada has to be careful.
Oh,
Might have seen him on that. Maple no flash, but does have Tibbers available. Wako trying to fight some damage here. A lot of DPS falling off the Baron. Cascada into the middle of 3, looking for Wako, but he is absolutely headshot. Now Hanabi trying to find Maple on this side, but just not got the damage. Mission eventually comes and cleans that up, but it is the Baron now found for PSG. Hanabi sticking around a bit too long, does get found as well from Wako, so 2 kills found. They're not even recalling. They're fine to just sustain back up with the Dragon and look to push top.
Yeah, can probably get a lot off this Baron, especially if they don't need to reset immediately. Want to keep the pressure on. Going to be hitting this top tower here, and it's going to fall very, very soon. There's not a lot of wave clear up just yet. Now they're going to reset. Can probably just look to pressure really hard with this Baron and then go back towards the Elder afterwards. Not sure if they'll actually end off this Baron, but it just allows them to so easily transition it into the Elder after him. RJ played this fight so well. I mean, he eats the hook, obviously, but also manages to find CC onto both the carries here. I mean, just look at this. This was so nice here. I mean, he gets them both.
Yeah.
The entire fight, both the carries are just hitting him, and they can't do any damage to him whatsoever.
Wako was just standing still, culling them.
Yeah, it kind of feels... They just really don't have the tools to deal with RJ at this point, and he's such a menace. I think here, PSG, I really like what Maple was doing, his position here, and I think, honestly, DCG were doing a good job of playing this slow and letting Mission come, but then they suddenly just really changed it up. Like, I don't know what Cascada's thinking here was. I feel like they can play it slow, just wait like a couple more K on the Baron, wait for Mission to be here, and maybe then you have a chance, but pulled the trigger way too early. Mission did manage to trade one back after, but unfortunately, you know, PSG, they walk away with everything there.
Yeah, that play by Cascada looked like a bit of a normal Summoner's Rift experience there, but ultimately now it is PSG heavily in the driver's seat, 8k gold ahead, looking to push in this top lane, bottom lane even inner. Now what can DCG really do? I mean, you can hope for a miraculous Orianna roll, but even then, do you have the damage? Probably not, as Arze is just going to dive. He's going to be in the middle of 4 of them. He's taking no damage. Teleport coming in now from Hanabi, but it is just going to be attention turned now towards the tower, and Maple flashes in 3-man Tibbers. Doesn't have a lot of damage, so nothing comes from it as it's turned around. 1-man Shockwave will find a lot of damage onto Woody, but he's not the target you want, as Mission's trying to do everything he can with what is at his disposal. It is not enough though. Now look at this healing coming from this Ocean Soul as well as Woody on the Melio.
First inhib goes down. There were a lot of sums burned there though. You know, no sums on Woody, no flash on Maple, means he won't have the flash engage. 15 seconds on the Elder though. DCG, they're going to have to find a way in here, but it's currently PSG. They hold complete control of this area. Are they going to give it up? I'm surprised that they're giving up so much control. Okay, they're still holding the pinks, but I think they shouldn't let DCG into the river.
Ooh, Hana. Very aware there. Hanabi, though, is in trouble. That is all of his health gone. He doesn't have teleport available, and Arze now happy to be blast cone into the team. It's gonna Hana versus Wako. He doesn't even get to use an ability. He just goes down, and with the jungler down, it should be Elder. I think DCG have to try and fight, but without Smite, they can't look for a steal.
Yeah, it's an impossible fight, but it's one you have to take at this point.
Yeah, Maple on the flank, doesn't have flash, does have Tibbers, but it is going to be DCG backing off for now.
I'm surprised they gave it up. I feel like it's almost worth Hail Marrying it. I mean, it's so hard of a fight to win, but it's also so hard to delay an Elder. We'll see if they can. I mean, they do have decent wave clear with Orianna now having the Rabadons. And there will be resets coming in from PSG, but you really have to try hold on now. One inhib already broken. You do have your other towers.
Cascada going Gwinsu's now, I presume? No. I don't even know what this man's building anymore.
That's a Shadow Flame, I think. And I don't think that's that good, but hey, we'll see. Zonya's now completed on Maple. That feels very good. And oh my god, Arjun just completed another armor item.
Yeah, I definitely don't think the flat pen build is going to do anything ever to this Scion.
Probably
even the
not.
Graves, honestly.
Okay, now 2 minutes on Baron. Will PSG need it? I'm not sure. I feel like if Waku culling someone, it probably kills them with the Elder.
Yeah.
It's very, very close if not. They're waiting for Junji to push on that top wave. Just calm and collected here is the side of PSG. Don't need to force it too much. They know that they're in a unlosable position unless they do something really dumb.
Yeah, I think even there it takes a lot of mistakes, and those mistakes have to be egregious with just how strong this Scion is.
Now knocking on these base turrets. Mid tower. They have that Oriole. Waku has to make sure he dodges that, has the flash, has the dash. On top side though, Hana looking for something down 4 levels.
Yeah, there's going to be Cascada coming in. Jajia might look for his first death of the game. The Gold Drink is going to keep him alive and actually almost turn around a kill.
It
is now Hussey in the middle of everyone again. We've seen this time and time again. There's nothing they can do to him, and with health that low for both Hana and Cascada, it should be at least one tower going down here. Arze just needs to stand in front of whatever they're doing.
Yeah, I think there should be 3 inhibs at the very least. I think if they're brave, PSG should play for the end here.
Yeah, doesn't feel like you have to wait any longer. Arze ult halfway to being up, and this is both inhibs that were remaining now going down. Half health on one of the Nexus towers, and So much power in the PSG lineup.
Yeah, one tower's about to fall. Elder's still on, not for very much longer though, I think about 15 more seconds.
Yeah, DCG trying to wait out that Elder buff. It feels like PSG could just pull the trigger. Cyanol now is available.
Yeah, Elder is very close to expiring here, but they got a lot of damage.
Junji is going to engage. It is going to be Wako picking up Orca with that Elder buff, and now Hanabi running for his life. It's going to be Hana looking for Junjia. Stopwatch will save him for now. He doesn't have flash available, but he does get out. Hanabi now should be going down. There is no more Elder buff. It's not going to be executed as Cascada is going to be killed on his fountain. That will be the game for PSG. 35 minutes. It was longer than perhaps you'd think, but was eventually done. Oh, but a happy gaming there at the end.
Bit of happy gaming. Hopefully they do end this. Come on, fellas. Let's clean it up.
Hit that Nexus. Come on.
They got it. I think even if 5 members spawn, they wouldn't be able to kill RJ.
Yeah, I think RJ was just so unkillable that game. And it has to be said, the Kai'Sa build, I think, was very, very questionable.
It was a bit out of space, if I'm honest. I also think that Mission probably should have gone for the crown. I kind of do like the... I'm not sure how I feel about the Shadow Flame Rush, just because I think that you know that the main person you're going to be hitting is Arja the whole game, right? And Shadow Flame, I mean, I guess Sign has a shield, but it's not... You're not really building Shadow Flame for this shield cut or anything, you know? So it's like... I think it might have been better just to go Leandri's Rabadon's Void or something like that. I'm not too sure, but either way, I think Mission actually played a pretty good game, and I wouldn't say it was his fault they lost. And I also want to give credit to PSG's fantastic level 1, especially for RJ, who played just a flawless game, you'd have to say.
I think we might be looking at RJ picking up his second MVP.
He has to.
I think while obviously the damage graph won't show him at the top, I'm expecting, it was really him sacrificing his lane to find such a massive advantage for both Ginger and Wako in the bot lane there. And from there, it was like, even in his own lane, I think he caught up a lot of that CS he did lose early. And it was just a real snowball effect from that. And then, you know, once he got one item, he was just unkillable because no one itemized against him. And he really used that. I mean, even some of the mechanical plays against that Poppy ult and whatnot in team fights, managing to find both carries in between 5 members of the enemy team. And it was very impressive on Sion gameplay.
It was, and I would be kind of curious to see what happens to him if they, you know, they just take away the buffs and they don't end up going for the dive, because I think they went for the dive because there was a lot of HP lost. They managed to get a lot of chunk. If Arja just TP's back top, I wonder how much can Hanabi get done in that Gnar-Sion matchup, because it's a good matchup anyway, and Hanabi, you know, very good on the Gnar. So I kind of wonder, you know, I think it should still be good for the Sion in my mind. Like, it's a tough matchup. You should be able to neutralize, but getting those 2 kills really made it even easier for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he played pretty much exactly how you'd want. I want to say Maple didn't have the best showing, but being that he was playing